guys, and warm welcome back to the channel. My name is Grace if you're new here, and this is the Rusty Thicket. I do all kinds of Goblincore art and just Goblincore stuff in general because that is my favorite aesthetic right now. And actually always kind of has been, and I just didn't know it. But today I wanted to show you guys my new items. So I don't know, back in like maybe 2009, 2010, cabochon stuff was really popular. Oh, also, before I get going too much here, I am on my new microphone. We're gonna see how this works today. If it sounds pretty normal, I guess maybe I didn't get to use it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so back in like 2009, 2010, it was really popular to get these little glass pieces to go over some like resin type stuff. Well, things that we would use for resin today. So like normally when you find this kind of thing in like Hobby Lobby or Michael's now, they usually sell it with like that UV resin and the little things that you put in it, which are super cute. And I would love to get into resin one day, eventually maybe. But this is like what I kind of remember doing like with bottle caps and stuff. So I've already adhered some really strong neodymium magnets to the back of these, and they are excellent. But today we're just gonna paint some little things to go down in them, and then we're gonna cover them in glass. And as you can see with this one here, it's done similarly, but it is like a little pill pocket thing, or pocket pill thing. But I'm gonna use them as little trinket boxes to collect all of your little Goblincore shinies in while you're out and about. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of an example here, just some little stuff. It actually holds quite a bit. You know, a whole hippopotamus even. So yeah, we're going to do a few of those, but this one is actually covered in the diamond glaze that I use to adhere these to whichever item I'm putting them on. And we'll get to that process also after I paint a couple of these for today's video. Some other examples I'm really proud of and really excited for are these really cute bookmarks. I've got the oval ones as you see here, and then I also got some small round ones that I have not designed anything for yet. But I just love them. I love how fairy tale and just illustrated goodness, you know? There's nothing against Shrinky Dinks, and some people can really do them well, but I just don't think I'm one of those people. It doesn't really fit into my aesthetic the way that I want it to, but it's also, it doesn't give me the ability to be as creative, I feel like. And maybe that's because so much of it is left up to drawing and not painting, which is definitely the skill I feel like I'm better at. But these are, you know, elevated. I think they also just, they look the part. The mixed metal is very Rusty Thicket, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I'm actually so happy with how they turned out, especially this little pill box, because this doesn't even have the glass dome. It's just clear diamond glaze glue on the top, and it just looks so precious, you know? Alright, so moving on. I've got quite a few picked out here, but we're only going to get to a couple today. And I think we're just going to go on the vibes. So I'm really feeling this little boot. I really love this little mushroom that matches my pillbox up there. Super cute little bike. And then my husband was obsessed with this little jellyfish, so I think that's what we'll do today. And I'll show you start from finish the whole process that I do. Okay, so obviously I already have my drawings done. We're going to paint these really quick while we chit chat. So I also have these keychains that I'm going to do eventually, but these round circles are just a little too big. They said 1 inch for the keychains, but that's not quite accurate for the inside measurement, so I'm gonna go back to the drawing board on that one a little bit. One of the other reasons I'm really loving this whole style right now is because I can use my Cricut to cut these circles in near perfection. I don't really have to work very hard at that at all, which I really appreciate. I don't have to punch any circles, which is how I used to do it, you know, back in the day. And y'all know me, I tend to paint quite a few things at once. That's one of the reasons I love to work so tiny. I also love little stuff because you don't have to be absolutely perfect, you know? You have a little bit more room to make it very illustrated looking. Because there's nothing wrong with wanting it to look absolutely perfect, but I used to have such a problem with that I would just not do art in general because of it. You know, if it wasn't absolutely perfect, I was unhappy with it. And perfectionism is definitely something that used to kill my drive for art back in the day. Really going back in the day. Today. My husband and I are really into bikes. You'll see a lot more of them on the channel when it cools down here, because it's just not been super fun getting them out in the 85-degree plus humidity heat here lately. And I'm kind of a baby when it comes to the heat anyway, so I'm not trying to get out there and kill myself on this weather when I know October and November are going to be really beautiful. Biking is probably one of our favorite things about Japan. Where we were last at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico, not only because of the heat was that pretty hard to do there, but you know, it's the middle of the desert. You've got an hour between your biggest cities, and we just didn't have a lot of area there down in the little bitty town next to us that we'd actually want to ride bikes in. Plus it would be, you know, at least a 20-mile ride into town from where the base is. I'm gonna add a lot of white to him afterwards when we do some highlighting with the Jelly Roll pen. I've got it pulled out here. If you haven't used Jelly Roll yet, I definitely recommend that, especially if you're into watercolor, because it does so well on the top of your watercolors. Let me know in the comments below, do you guys think that jellyfish would be considered Goblincore? I really want to start adding a few more Goblincore pieces that are beach and, like, you know, island themed. We have lots of frogs and snails and stuff here, but some people are just really into that beach life, and I'd like to have something, you know, that's within my theme, but just very specific to Okinawa and beach life. And I really think between jellyfish and nudibranchs, I think that's how you say it, but those are like the really colorful, well, some of them are colorful, the really colorful snails that are, well, they're sea slugs is really what they are. But I'm following a girl on I think it's TikTok, who's doing clay nudibranchs for herself. It's been really beautiful to watch because they are so individualistic. They're all so different from each other. It's really cool. And I'd really love it if you guys could tell me below how my sound is, if you can tell a difference, if you think that, you know, the mic needs to be further away. Maybe I'm not as loud or too quiet. I'm still trying to figure it out. Something else I've realized about these two, I have to go a lot more saturated and more colorful on my pieces, because at the end when you add this last cabochon, it doesn't like to, it refracts so much light in there that it's kind of washes it out sometime. That's why I'm doing lots of layers even for this little guy. Alright, moving on, we're gonna go over here to this boot. The cool thing about these little cabochon things is that they do tend to hide some imperfections, so if you're looking to get into these, I can list the stuff that I bought from Amazon below, and at some point maybe we'll get into doing some ephemera ones, which is basically how I used to do them back in like the 2009-2010 time frame. I remember you cutting stuff out of different magazines and finding cool patterns and, you know, interesting phrases and stuff, and then they would also have different websites like Etsy and stuff that would sell the little 1-inch circles pre-done with designs. And that was before I had any idea of what kind of art I would want to get into. I just wanted to try and make a little something. I actually made most of my wedding money selling little arts and crafts like that for a while. I DIY'd most of my wedding, and it was a lot of fun, but it was difficult to come up with the extra money because we were also trying to save for our well, the future and, you know, all the things you save for. We were trying to buy a house. Alright, so some of these probably didn't need backgrounds. I'm just trying things out, seeing how I like them. this microphone situation works out during this video, I'll put a little thing in the description box and let y'all know after I've edited, and then hopefully we can start getting into some ASMR and a couple other little things. Let's just go for it. So that's our little doodles for the day. A little bit more detail into this basket. All right, we're gonna add some a little bit of flare. Been obsessed with the red and white mushrooms lately. I just think they pop so nicely. All right. So now the next step is to let those dry for just a few minutes. We're gonna get our magnets out here. This is the glue that I used. It's called Diamond Glaze. It dries crystal clear. I put it down first on the base of this and it sticks really quickly, and then I coat the top of it and then put a little dab enough that when I press this down it goes through the entire piece, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I usually get a brush that I don't use for my watercolors to do this. Do a little dab. Spread that out. I want to make sure that there's enough in there that it's definitely going to stick, but I don't want to saturate the paper because it is an absorbent kind of paper. But one of the great things about this stuff is that I do not have to let these cover these in any kind of sealer beforehand, because this stuff doesn't smear my paints or anything like that. But the process is so much more fun. I really enjoy being able to do my actual watercolors instead of just having to come up with some things to outright just draw. And I'm sure there's a way to make Shrinky Dinks look like watercolor a little bit more, but I don't know what that is, and I haven't played around with them quite enough to know that for sure. But does anybody else that does artwork, or even just life things in general, do you really love sort of monotonous stuff, or at least like almost factory type stuff where factory type stuff where you get to create an assembly line? Because I really appreciate just being able to sit down and kind of mindlessly do a little something. Hope this video makes sense. I feel like I keep pausing and stuff because I'm kind of in the zone. Alright, so this one is pretty much already set. I can't jiggle it around or anything, so I'm going to put just enough on here to spread it around. Nice and even to the edges. Then I'm going to do a decent dab. Press nice and hard. Get all the air bubbles out of it. Alright. And do you see how if you're not paying attention to how bright your paintings are, they can fade a little bit in here because it just pumps so much light into it that it kind of washes it out. Or at least that's what I think is happening. Alright, so we're going to let this one dry. This one's pretty good. I could probably just slap a dab of paint in here, or a dab of glue in here, and then just be done with it, but like to make sure that things are getting all the glue that they can get. Afterwards, if I've got any on the glass, I can come back through with a little rubbing alcohol and kind of clean that up a bit if I need to. This one, I think I've put enough glue in here that once I spread it around, I'm not going to put an additional dab. See how that goes. Totally fine. I just think they're so precious. There's no reason you couldn't put literally anything in these and make them work really well. My favorite one. I think I'm going to clean him up a little bit. There we go. There's a little detail in here. Just a little second to dry. We're gonna look at our piece here. Precious. Precious. All right. Alright, and there we have it. When they dry, they'll be ultra clear. They'll even kind of, you can see it's just a tad bit foggy on a couple of these, the way that they are, but that glue will dry crystal clear, and they'll look very close to, if not exactly like these. I would love to know what you guys think. I'm definitely moving into this direction versus the Shrinky Dinks. I'm kind of excited to have, you know, something that's a bit more elevated and something that's obviously a lot more of my specific kind of artwork. But I hope you enjoyed. If you guys don't mind to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and I would love to know what you think about these and the sound, especially if you can tell a difference. Also, next Monday is the Goblincore Spa Day. We're finally gonna do it, and I'm really excited to share with you guys. So until next week, thanks for watching. Bye guys.